Hi, boys and girls. So today for math, I want to talk a little bit about partitioning shapes. This is kind of a review for us because we talked about this before we left for spring break. And I just want to make sure we understand what does that mean. So when we talk sometimes about partitioning a room, that means you're going to divide the room into different parts. Some people call it, there's a wall and they might say that's a partition. And that means you're breaking something into different parts. Now, the key is when we're talking about shapes, we want to make sure that our shapes are partitioned into equal parts. How do I know it's divided into equal parts or partitioned into equal parts? The pieces have to be the same size. Now, what I know is sometimes it's hard to draw the picture because it is not exact. I have a hard time drawing it, but I want you just to do the very best that you can. So I have drawn some shapes on my paper, and I know that I have a square and a circle and a triangle. Now, if I have it into equal parts and there are two equal parts, if I say that I partition it into two equal parts, that I know that I'm dividing it into half. When there are two equal parts, I'm dividing the pieces into half. So when I divide it here, and remember we talked how the pieces can be divided differently. Now, like right there, I feel like I didn't do a great job on dividing it, but it's the best that it can be for right now. So because especially since I'm using a marker. So when I divide this, I know that if I say I want you to color in half of this square, that means you're going to color in one part and that there's two pieces. Okay, the same thing about a circle. I can divide, and the neat thing about the circle is I can draw my line anywhere on the circle as long as I'm going from one side to the other. And I'm going to divide that into equal parts. So I'm going to divide my circle from here straight across to the other side. And I know that I have my circle divided into two equal parts. When I have two equal parts, I have a half. This is a half. And this is a half. So when I talk about the whole circle, there are two halves in a whole. Because if I would color in both halves of the circle, I'm coloring in the whole circle. So when I color, if I say I want you to color in one half or half of the circle, I'm going to color in one part. So again, when I have two equal pieces, each part is called a half. And I'm going to color in half of the circle. When I do a triangle, again, depending on the kind of triangle it is, really, this is the only kind of triangle because all of the sides are the same size. And so I can divide this triangle into half. And I can again go from here to the other side, here to the other side, or from the top to the bottom. Today I'm going to divide it from the top to the bottom. So again, because there are two equal pieces, one piece here, one piece here, I have half the circle or half the triangle. This is half of the triangle. This is a half a triangle. There are two pieces in a whole when it's divided into half. Okay, so I'm going to color in this half. So when I divide it into half, there are two equal pieces. Now, when I divide it into fourths, there's going to be four equal pieces. So halves, there are two. So I'm going to say half, two equal pieces. There are two halves in a whole. Two halves in a whole. So when I have a fourth, again, I'm going to divide it the easiest way that I can. How many? So when I look, I'm dividing into fourths. How many equal pieces do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I say, I want you to color in a fourth of this circle, I want you to color in one of those 4 pieces. And so here is a coloring in a fourth. Now, on your iReady lesson, one of the things it's going to say is it's not going to have the lines. And you have to decide, if I take this piece, how many of them could I put in that square? So if I have it divided into fourths, I know that it takes 4 equal pieces to make the whole square. And it's the same thing for the circle. If I divide this circle into fourths, that I have 4 equal pieces. And so again, I can color in a fourth. Now, what I want, so when I look at this, and I know I didn't do that, I'm not doing it all the way because I don't want to get it on my wall. When I'm looking at this, this can also be called quarters. A fourth and a quarter mean the same thing, okay? It takes 4 quarters to make a whole. That makes me think of a dollar. It takes 4 quarters to make a whole dollar. It kind of goes the same. And so on the triangle, I am not going to divide that into fourths. I'm not sure why. Can I do it into fourths? Let's see. Because the pieces have to be equal, don't they? Let's find out if the pieces are equal. Oh my goodness, I did a horrible job on that. So this is not divided into fourths. Okay, and so I'm going to put no. That's not divided into fourths. So part of it is because I did a horrible job in drawing my lines. So what I have to remember is when I have fourths, how many equal pieces do I have? 4. When I have quarters, how many equal pieces do I have? 4. They are the same. Okay, so when I have fourths and quarters, it equals 4 equal pieces. Now, when I look at this, and I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, okay? So when I have the square, okay, and I say, this is what I want to show you, it's going to have it looking like this. And it's going to say how much of this square is colored in. It's not going to have the other lines. So how much of that square is colored in? So I'm going to say, if I take this, I can put it 1, 2, 3, 4. I can put 4 of those pieces there. Okay. If I have this circle, how much of this circle is colored in? And you would say it's a half. Okay, because I can take 1, 2, and those are the 2 pieces. So when we're partitioning things off, that means we're dividing them into equal pieces. And we want to say, how many pieces does it have? A half has 2 equal pieces. A fourth has 4 equal pieces. Okay. All right, that's what we're going to talk about. We'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. Each day I'm going to have a link so that we can talk about what is that we're talking about, that